Hello and welcome to the Wicked Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. We have a great show lined up for you. Alafu wale watu wamekuwa kinuza kwani credo ya Telkom ilisha. Kwanza Roy Ford Wanyoike was very straightforward pale YouTube. Alienda straight to the point. Ati credo ya Telkom ilienda wapi? Wait till you hear about the power bundle offers from our friends at Telkom. Roy Ford, we kwanza wacha nikufungulie na credo ya thao juu hiyo story. Na hii offer mpya, thao ina last almost forever. Juu ukiwa na 10 bob iko na free calls, SMSs na WhatsApp, and I'll tell you more about that in a bit. But first, this week, sijui atanianzia wapi man. Willis Raburu launched a new hairstyle and Kenyans were uncontainable. Kuna maheta nimesikia wanasema ati after hii hairstyle ndio wamegundua full name ya Willis ni Wilkis Raburu. Mimi yenye imenimaliza kabisa ni ati kumbe inamaanisha Phyllis Raburu. Na kuna watu pia wanasema ati vile tu hiyo picha ilisurface kwa mtandao, brand yake imeshuka. Also this week, the Police Inspector General Hilary Mutyambai clarified that anyone found in public without a mask will be liable to a fine of 20,000 Kenya shillings. How will that be implemented? Richana, mbona unatembea bila mask? Afande sina mask lakini niko na 20k. In short, hii town lazima ukuwe na pesa ndio upumue vizuri. Shida ni ukutane na polisi mara 5. Hiyo ni 100,000 a day. This just means that at this time you cannot afford to be in public without a mask. 20,000 is very expensive. Now, it is important to note that the order by the Police Inspector General about a 20k fine if caught in public without a mask will not be the first time ya serikali kukula pesa ya mask. Also, it's the second time Kenyans will pay dearly for masks they have not worn. Now, it's very easy for the law to be interpreted wrongly. Mtu anatembea na mask ni mtu hana kakitu. Ni rahisi sana kufikiria hivyo. Ai, mimi mambo ya jemo siwezani nayo. Mtu anashinda na mask mpaka kwa nyumba atatoa wapi pesa ya pizza? Now, mimi siwezi shangaa mtu akitumia hata hiyo directive kukopa do. Yo, Saimo, maze suniokolee thao mbao hapo maze. Kuna dili meiva mahali na sitaki huyo jamaa one sina kakitu. Na hakuna vile naenda hiyo mkutano na mask. In other news, Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu made headlines this week after President Uhuru asked her for a lift at the KICC during the issuance of title deeds.
You are going to drive.
Manze. The president's security detail running after Governor Ngilu driving has to be the best impression ya vile dema kona gari upeleka wanaume mbio. This is also a very good impression of a typical presidential race in Kenya. There's always this many men running, alafu and one woman. Now this also shows vile wanaume ukimbilia dema kona mtu. On the real though, was it really necessary for the security detail to run with the vehicle? Ama waliona ni kama governor anaweza toroka na president. Anyway, like I said, we have a great show lined up for you. Our guest for this episode is a life coach. Maze inaniwasha sana. My definition of what I think it means to be a life coach, inaniwasha sana kuambia, I'm already guessing it's the same thing you're thinking. I'll wait till the interview. I hope I will. Now, hizi ni zile topics zinaniwasha kama ile ya plastic surgery ya last week. Kwa nyinyi watu wazuri man. Niliona mtu amesema ati mimi na Dr. Kenneth Alwora tunafanana, alafu mwingine karibu ati tunahitaji plastic surgery ya midomo, ati sisi ni midomo bagi. Sasa kati ya sisi na unaongea hivyo ni nani wako na mdomo? Anyway, we've got a perfect guest for today's topic. She is a psychologist and a life coach with an adequate pinch of psychiatry. Hawa ni wale watu wameenda kusomea kosi ya unakaa unamwambia siri zako zote, alafu unakuwa fiti. Stress inaisha. At least that's what I think of it. And I stand corrected because Venus Chengo is in the house. We'll be talking to her in a bit. Remember, I have mentioned that our friends at Telkom have a great offer you do not want to miss. Inaitwa power bundle. Ushajipata kwa fix juu ya credo. Of course, everybody can relate. Imagine uko kwa simu una try to explain who is Dorcas. Alafu usikie tit tit tit.
Salam alaikum.
Alafu immediately after simu kukatikia unapata message ya have a nice life.
Alaikum assalam.
Salam alaikum.
This is now going to be a thing of the past. For as low as 10 shillings, you have enough time to explain yourself, courtesy of the Telkom Power Bundle. Imagine for only 10 bob unapata free Telkom to Telkom calls, free Telkom to Telkom SMSs, na free WhatsApp. Inaitwa Power 10. Alafu for 20 bob only unaingia kwa Power Extra. Hapo unapata free Telkom to Telkom calls, free Telkom SMS, na free 100 MBs worth of data bundles. Alafu kuna ingine inaitwa Power 20 where you get 5 minutes to any network call time. Alafu uko na free Telkom SMSs na free 100 MBs worth of data. Just dial *544# on your Telkom line to subscribe. That said, to give you a taste of what this package is all about, upate kuionja kidogo, I want to give you 1,000 bob worth of airtime. And ni very simple. Niambie tu ni aibu gani huwezi penda kujipata nayo juu ya kukosa credo. Use any of my social media handles, Instagram at Dr_Kingori, Twitter at Dr_Kingori, na Facebook Dr. Kingori, that's Dr. Kingori. Na make sure umetag at Telkom Kenya and use #The Wicked Edition. And now the topic on our show tonight is life coaching. And I stumbled upon this video juzi. Nikajiuliza sana kama this is really the map of life.
There are 5 opportunity stages in life. Number 1, the age of 0 to 20, we call it developmental period of a human being. This is where you learn, there is language acquisition, unajifunza jinsi ya kuongea. And then we have the age of 20 to 44. Tunaita human investment period. This is where you invest a lot. At the age of 44 to 55, we call it heavy expenditure period. Now, research inaonyesha at the age of 44 to 55, people are so corrupt at this age. They are competing with time. Wanaona kule nyuma wamewest kuinvest, so they are competing with time so that they may be able to acquire. And then at the age of 55 to 65, you will be only doing 2 things. 1, you will be celebrating life because of good investment. If you are not celebrating, then you will be regretting the existence of life.
Manze, I have thought about this very much. Unfortunately, I was not able to trace this gentleman by the time we taped this show. Is there really a map of how life should be lived? Ama maisha ni guesswork ya mahali utaangukia? Now, how does motivation work? Can we all make it? Alafu, who is a life coach? Na ni experience gani wao kuwa nayo na kila mtu akona hiyo life yake moja? Hii ni moto mase. We have actually managed to get the best person suited to address these many questions. Venus Chengo, a life coach, is in the house. Si tuchemsheni story on the other end of this break. Exactly. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back to the Wicked Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Show nzito sana kama kawaida. Our guest for this episode is a psychologist, akona psychiatry background, and most importantly, she is a life coach. Mimi nimekuwa sana hapo kwa life coach because my basic definition ya life coach ni mtu anakufunza vile utaishi. So mimi ukiniuliza ni mtu anakuambia ni aje unafaa kuishi hivi ama vile. Na nimesema I stand to be corrected. Venus Chengo is in the house.
Thank you so much for having me in the show.
Karibu sana, karibu. Nimepata hiyo definition ya life coach.
Hiyo definition kidogo iko twisted.
Kwa nini?
Yes, a life coach just helps you. Already uko na skill. So I bring it, I enhance that skill. In fact, when we talk about life coaches, I think of psychologists.
Yes.
Because unajua kwa hii profession yangu ya psychologist, I treat behavior. I help people change mindsets. When you're working with someone in life coaching, unajaribu ku change mindset yake to align with what, that candle that iko ndani yake.
So, a psychologist ni change behavior. How effective is that compared na kiboko, especially now that you are an African man? Which is more effective?
I think therapy is more effective.
Therapy?
Yes.
Sawa.
Our days, unajua kuna kitu inaitwa conditioning. Our days, unajua wewe ni myang. Sisi ni wale wa enzi zile where you used to be beaten thoroughly. Pesa ikimiss kwa hao, nani amechukua do? Kabla mujijue, umetandikwa si nyi wote.
Sasa wewe juni psychologist, pesa ikimiss kwako unawafanyia counseling?
No, we sit down. First of all, we discuss. You know, there's a way unaweza kuwaza mtu Kingori just by your words. Unaweza kuambia mtoi, nini wewe? Na kuuliza swali naona nijibu na swali. You see, already you're bringing the self-esteem of that child down. But when when you sit down, Mom, I want to talk to you. I've just discovered that my cash is missing. Have you seen it? Because it could, kuna hiyo possibility huyo mtoto alichukua hiyo pesa. So
basically, psychologist ni dispense our guilt. Unafanya msea feel guilty. Na that's the science ati mtu akikuja kuona therapist, unaeka mtu akuambie siri zake zote, alafu you tell them what is wrong with them. Hapana. Basically, kuna kitu, by the way, one of the core values tunakuanga nayo as therapist, counseling therapist, is empathy. If I tell you the cases I've dealt with, kuanzia, dealing with ex-street children who are struggling with drug use. You have to create your condition, pali ukikamu kaena mimi, unaona mama ani judge. So unafungua roho. And the more you open up your roho and tell me what is going on in there, I'm able to bring out symptoms of this disease ndio inakusumbua. Unajua? Because unaweza kuwa you're depressed. Yes. But unless you talk, how will I know what is eating you up? So as a psychologist, as a life coach, I don't do anything than empower you with what I have, like the knowledge. The doing part is you. So basically, nini waganga wameenda shule? Sisi waganga, my goodness. Sisi waganga, but then the magic is normally on the client. Wewe ndio una activate your magic. Ni wewe. Because, okay, tell me about you. By the time ufike hapa, what did it, if you reflect on your journey, there must have been people who came and told you, by the way, unakuanga mfani, sindio? Then you started, by the way, si uanze show, sindio? So there's someone who spoke into your life, and that is sowing a seed. So that is what we do as life coaches, as psychologists. Now, psychiatrists, wanakuanga wana deal with mental disorders. Ile unakuta mtu maze, amekuwa kivuta mabangi zake, amekuwa kikunywa pombe, unajua inaanzanga secretly, especially with the young ones. Yes. And then kidogo, brain inaanza kumwambia nipatie more maze. If you don't give me, na kuexpose. So asipopata hiyo drug, unakuta mtu matrema maze, mtu hallucinations. So drugs ni psychology. It's a psychological problem. It's a psychological problem that is treated by a psychiatrist, because what happens is a drug is introduced to your system to sort of like mimic the drug that you have been abusing. That's how mtu akienda rehab unapewa, mtu endangi ati cold turkey, kuna madawa unapewangwa polepole ndio mwili isistuke. Yes. I mean, bangi iko wapi? There are certain withdrawal effects that can cause death. So, ukienda rehab, kama uko na shida ya bangi, unapewa bangi fake. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Please. Need kiasi, not bangi fake, tuseme tu dawa yenye inaingia. Unajua drugs huanga zina mimic a certain hormone called dopamine. Dopamine is the exciting hormone. Unaelewa pale mtu anakuanga, athletes, hiyo adrenaline inakuanga kwa brain ni dopamine. Unaelewa? So ukiwa under now rehabilitation, wana introducing hiyo dopamine. Because bangi ndio ilikuwa inakupatia. Unaelewa? So you get to still feel a high, but with time, as they lower the doses, now you come back to yourself. Because remember, God created you perfect. But somewhere along the way, something struck you. Trauma, peer pressure, hizi vitu tunaonanga, all these things that influence people to get into certain behaviors. Yes. I have a friend of mine mwenye aliingia kwa drugs, I remember, in high school, not because of trauma manini, because of a slogan that used to go around, afadhali miaka 20 ya happy kuliko miaka 50 ya stress. Unaget? Like ni aje, ni this is a way of life.
Yes.
Aya, tena ukitusaidia kujibu kama ni lazima peke yake ikuwe ni trauma ama ingine ni lifestyle. Pia kuna mapia ati ni aje, if you don't do this at this age, we utakuwa kamzee kanapiga cocaine. As in, ni itakam kuku affect later in life. Is there really a map of what someone should do in life at a certain age?
No. Let me tell you, the moment, and I see it a lot with us African parents, unakuta mtu yeye anakuambia, by the way, I want to do something crazy, like become a creative. But mtu yeye ni chop. Yes. So unaona hapana. I remember my dad used to tell me you have to be a doctor. And I love him so much. Alikuwa ananiambia you're a brainy. Nataka ukue daktari.
Yes.
But that is not what I wanted. I was a homemaker. There are other things that I wanted to do. Unanielewa? So when you start now creating what we call belief systems in a child.
Yes.
Because I'm feeding you, I'm telling you, apana Kingori, apa paliuko, si poa. Maybe you need to consider. I'm slowly, introducing something called a belief system in you.
Okay.
Unanielewa? So it registered in your mind. And now eventually, unaanza behave according to what I tell you.
As a life coach, the course, full course, ukiwa na client wa full. So unambrief sasa wewe maisha yako from 18 to 24 you can do this, 24 to 35, 35 get a job, retire 55, from 70 you can die at will. That's how life well lived. Is it, where does the work end?
The work ends when we achieve our goals.
Dying peacefully.
Not dying peacefully. When you come for any session, there's something you want out of Venus. Sindio, umesikia Venus ni life coach. Maybe you feel like you want to really make it in business. So I'll just basically, try and find out what is it that you give me. Let's work with something. What exactly do you want? Is it that you want to make money? Is it that you want, so you will list down all the goals. Then slowly by slowly, we start now ticking the boxes.
Okay.
But remember, you have to break your barriers. Like for example, hiyo nimepeana ya productivity. Kama ni mtu mlazy, by the way, how will you make it if you want to be a businessman?
Okay. Na laziness is something very many people are struggling with. Kuna dawa mtu anaweza pewa meze ya psychiatry ya inamaliza laziness 2 times 3.
Uko serious?
Unachangamka tu unakuwa wewe ni mtu uko sawa kabisa.
Kuna reason. Laziness, by the way, I just think it's because everything has been made easy. Everything is being run by apps.
Okay.
Yeah. That is the reason why people are lazy.
So
kama ingekuwa ati ukitaka kukula lazima utembee mpaka Nando's or whatever, I mean you would do it. But now just at the click of the phone you can dial a delivery. Pizza inaletwa kwa mlango. So why would I be active?
Hizi vitu zote hizi vitu zote umesema problems and everything. Hakuna mahali umetaja shetani. How comes the devil is not responsible for any of this?
There are two things in this world. Darkness or light.
So you also believe in the devil?
Kabisa. He's there.
So if
and he is the prince. The Bible calls him the prince of this earth.
So you know how the devil anatolewanga. If I come to you with a problem and you know it's the devil, what are we discussing? See, we should deal with the devil. Why are we discussing science and we know the devil is responsible? The devil, inaitwaje, why would we go through a whole counseling process yet my problem can just be cured in Jesus' name?
Now, let me tell you how we deal with the devil. When you come in for the first session, I normally go through your genogram. Genogram is like your family tree. Dr. Kingori alitoka from Kingori Senior. Kingori Senior alitoka from Sindio. There's that tree until maybe palisasa watoto wako, because that's where now itaishia. We don't know about your grandchildren because they are not there yet. Sasa, I will look out for traits. I'll ask you questions. Is there alcoholism in your family? Tick. Sasa tunaanza na great grandfather. Alikuwa anakunywa? Yes. How about your grandfather? Yes. How about you? Yes. Yani even things like miscarriages. You know, all these strange things. Ukifuatilia, there's a trend. And that is what I use when I am approaching issues from a spiritual perspective. Remember, the spiritual affects the psychological.
Thank you. Just a clarification before you continue. So before I come to see you with my problems, I should do proper research of my clan background.
It's very,
I should know my
very
history.
important. By the way, that is part of self-awareness. Know your family history. Because kuna watu pia wangana inherited diseases.
Yes.
Like mnaza watoi wako na shida.
Up to inaitwa as in proper research about my ancestors up to where the problem started.
Yes, that is what we call the genogram, because it has to do with your genes. And then now it gives you cues to your spiritual approach or your spiritual challenges. For example, ukipata kwa familia yenu, mnakuanga at some point. Okay, let me give a real example. There are people, their families, by the time they hit 30, wanaanza kukufa. And it is a trend. So when you are able to find out this is what is happening in my family, you will seek intervention. And intervention can be two. First of all, you deal with your fear by trying to, we say behavior is learned, it can be unlearned, and it can be relearned. So the same thing with fear. Fear can be acquired and it can be unacquired, if that is a good word,
Yes.
So unaanza kudeal na hiyo phobia. Like nikifika 30, am I going? Because fear also can drive you to your own deathbed. Unaelewa?
Yes.
The second thing is, and this is very deep because now that's the spiritual way. You go and now try and deal with it. Could it be that this is a curse that is running down our generation? How can it be broken? But that's another huge topic on its own. But for me, and going by the fact that I have, been able to treat so many clients, both within Kenya and outside there, I'm a multicultural therapist. I can assure you that spiritual stuff exists. And they're so real. And they control the behavior we see. A good example, nikiona unanilenga, kuna vile siku hizi tulikuanga mabest. No, not your ancestors. What is controlling you? There's an evil thing. Because that is hate, isn't it?
So blue ticking is the work of the devil.
Aki, my God. Please.
Sikulenga. What's the SI unit ya kulenga?
Hebu niambie wewe ni daktari. Naona hapa tuko na madaktari wawili.
Okay, ni clarification. Si muhimu kuuliza.
Blue ticking.
Yes.
I will clarify that for you. It comes from very many reasons. Number one, this person may not just like you. Number two, what you have posted there does not make sense to them. Number three, their personality does not allow them to be in that social space wale wanataka kunini. Unajua kuna ukiangalia kwa WhatsApp group, kuna wale noise makers na kuna wale silent followers. Yes. So your personality ya kunyamaza, it's just, we learn to accept them. Because there are people who are just not good with responding to messages immediately. Maybe they need to process. Yes. Maybe they're just, analyzing what words do I need to use. I don't want to hurt this person. But wewe, kama ni ile personality ya haraka utasema, nini ananionanga mimi ni mfala sana. Yes. Na kutumia message unasoma immediately na respond.
Okay.
So, that's why human science inasaidianga sana. Because when you're in that space, you're able to understand people.
Yes.
Before I started doing my study on psychology, I used to be very judgmental. But now, because I'm more exposed, yes, to the science of human beings, I am very patient.
So with that knowledge, scientifically, what's the grace period after blue ticking should you start insulting someone? Safely?
Not insulting.
Okay.
But them trying to blue tick. Maybe
blocking them. When should you block them? Grace period, 2 days? Give it a time frame.
Musemanga, our God is a God of 1,000 chances. And even the Lord's Prayer, which we like all reciting, we say, forgive us as we forgive those who trespass against us. Jesus said, forgive 70 by 7. So, by the time nakutumia messages kadhaa, at least jipatie time. Si ati sasa nilikublutik leo, kesho umeniblock. No. Analyze this person, make sure, for sure, whatever they are doing is malicious. Don't be too quick to judge. Because unaweza kuona niongelesha, by the way, na maybe nimekosana na hazi yangu. Yes. I don't know what to tell you. And I also don't want to talk. Okay. But we ukoko like, okay, blue tick. But maybe later on, when we meet or maybe when we get time, I can be able to tell you, by the way, I've gone through so much. So I always say, don't be too quick to judge people, especially on this WhatsApp media, especially WhatsApp. Musemanga, always think, always imagine you're conversing with a robot. Na hiyo robot inaweza kuwa ime lose connection.
Yes, and one thing they don't teach in psychology, labda sometimes someone blue-ticked you because they only had bundles to receive the message.
Exactly.
Na wewe, having done your psychology, you have a master in mambo na addiction. Does it mean that you can unaweza vuta hata bangi safely? Juu unajua where to stop.
Guy, who is your
Maze, timing is not enough for this conversation. We extend this conversation to Nation FM, the weekend extension on 96.3 on Monday from 10 to 11. Venus Chengo, Aki, hii story haiwezi ishia hapa.
Kweli, kweli. Mental health issues,
no,
they need time.
Yes. Thank you for coming through kwa show yetu ya weekend edition. I think he most important ni ngumu sana kumaliza. So that's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.